We got another terrific guest with us today as we're getting the chance to bring you a conversation with another actor who has appeared in the Book of Boba Fett. Joining us on the Force Geeks podcast is a talented guy who has been in a bunch of projects over the years, including most recently the show 911 Lone Star and our favorite franchise. Of course, we're talking about Star Wars. He's been called an actor to watch in 2022. So one of the big reasons why we're excited to have him on the show is because Skyler took on a role in the popular Disney Plus series, The Book of Boba Fett, as a character that has a story that hardcore Star Wars fans got really excited about, and also turned out to be a fun discovery for more casual fans as well. We're not discriminating against you. He played the role of Fixer in Chapter 2 of The Book of Boba Fett, which was a deep cut reference to a character that first originated from a deleted scene from the original Star Wars movie when Luke Skywalker, yeah, we're going that far back, was hanging out with his friends at Tashi Station. And it's such a pleasure to welcome Skyler Bible to the Force Geeks podcast. Skyler, thank you so much for making time for us, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here, guys.
So naturally, we're going to talk to you about Star Wars and your experience working in the Star Wars universe here, because that's what we do. That's what we're about. But I'm also curious, were you even a Star Wars fan before you got on the Book of Boba Fett set?
Oh, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
We're already in good territory.
Yep.
How did it get started? Like, what was it? What was the first thing that you remember about Star Wars that hooked you in?
Oh, man. Well, my mom showed me the original trilogy and fell in love with Empire Strikes Back. That's like that's my favorite one. Yeah, man, I just fell in love with the universe and the characters and the stories and just all of it, man.
So was there anything about joining this universe? Was there anything about it that surprised you, took you aback a little bit? What was it about the whole experience? Was there something like, I did not expect this?
So in reference to like filming and being on set with the crew and kind of just the creators, I thought it was going to be, a Disney set. Everyone very strict. Everyone very like, do it. We're not going to tell it, But it was so collaborative, and it was such a family vibe, and such a, hey, try this, and just don't worry about the lines. Stay in the moment, improv, kind of, fire off some stuff, whatever you think, and we'll just, the point is the characters, and the point is the moments and scene, and that's what we care about. So just kind of play. It was just a very kind of creative set. And usually you don't get that on professional sets like that. It's quick and go, and we got one take, two take done and move on.
All business. Yeah.
And this
you're a creator as well when it comes to, I know you've done shorts and other stuff.
Yeah.
What was it like working with the folks that are at this level? Because you look at the guys who are responsible for it, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni's building a big name for himself, Robert Rodriguez. These are some big, heavy hitters, and you've been around big, heavy hitters before in your career. It's not like this is your first experience with that, but being on the set, was there something that you were picking up from them and their style of what they're doing?
Just the level of respect is so palpable. I mean, Jon Favreau walks on set and there's 150 crew people, and everyone shuts up. Everyone is quiet, listening. We did rehearsal for the first day, and it was like he walked on set, and for an hour and a half, he just walked through the scene and kind of just, was talking to the stunties and talking to us, and just kind of just a masterclass of like how to be on set and how to scene and how to interact with each other and what makes it so, I don't know, so captivating, I guess.
Yeah. This is like, let's back up for a moment, because I want to talk about your journey here. Obviously you've been on some other big projects, and we've seen you all over the place when it comes to your time in entertainment. And going back, I think 2011, it was the movie In Time, which was really good. It was with Justin Timberlake, Amanda Seyfried, Olivia Wilde, so many big names, Johnny Galecki, all these people. So that was a cool thing to see. And then also the Ryan Gosling led First Man, which Steven Spielberg was an executive producer for, all these big things. And I'm just curious about, when you get a chance to be on these sets, what are you thinking about when it comes to how you plan to make an impact? Are you looking for ways that you can jump into the conversations? Take me back to earlier in your career to where you are now, and where you see yourself going.
It's definitely a huge a huge thing to like, hey, Damien wants you on set now. What?
Yeah.
But it's very much like, mouth closed and eyes and ears open, and just watching all of these people work, and even being in the scene with like Corey Stoll and Ethan Embry and Kyle Chandler and all these people that you've like idolized, and now you're in sitting in the chair next to them, but they're doing the same thing, they're mouth shut and ears and eyes open and learning too, and kind of like being in the moment, and just I don't know, anything that any creative idea I try and I don't know, with voice.
Yeah.
I feel like Damien would call everybody around, and we'd have 5-6 people that were going to be in the scene, and just kind of him walking us through the blocking and kind of what was going to happen, and then that's like the moment of like, hey, I feel like Dick Gordon would say this to Dave, and he would say this to, he's like, oh yeah, try it, throw it in there and see. So as long as like it's a collaborative idea and a kind of I always try and toss that kind of stuff out, and if it gets shot down, it gets shot down, but it's always worth a try.
As an actor, how important is that to feel like you've got a chance to collaborate with people and bring something to the table as well? Like, how important is that for you to feel like you've, I don't know, accomplished something in that role?
I think that's probably the most, if not the most, but maybe the second most important thing is like, that's our job. The job is to contribute to whatever project that you're a part of in the most influential and creative way. Just trying to make it is the best it can be is the goal there.
How did you wind up on the sets? What was your journey? Where did it take you from a kid to there? Like, what was it when you just said like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I got to do?
So I was big into sports. I was all about sports, soccer, baseball, football, the whole thing. Needed an elective, took theater, and was like, oh, all right, love this. And then kind of fell in love with like the theater and the people that were in there. And then I saw Gladiator for the first time.
Oh yeah.
I want to do that. That's what I want to do.
Which you posted in front of the Coliseum asking, are you not entertained? I've seen that on your Instagram. I love it.
Excellent.
The reference runs deep. I get it.
Oh yeah. No, that movie was pivotal for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it kind of just, how do I do that? How do I get from here to there? And I got into school in Washington as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was gonna
Okay.
go to the Puget Sound.
Yep.
And then got stupid. I just got an audition too. It wasn't even like a role or anything.
Yeah.
But I got an audition for a show in LA at the same time that I would go up there, and I was like, I could either go to LA or I could go up there, and I chose to do the LA route. And kind of
looks like the gamble paid off for you. It looks like it was the right choice to make.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Well, okay, so let's go back to this. You're on the sets. You wind up getting cast in the Book of Boba Fett. Did you know what you were cast in at the time that they told you were going to do this? No, I didn't think so.
Not at all.
What'd they tell you?
So I had gotten the audition. Well, actually, before I got the audition, I got an NDA that didn't have anything on it. It just said the production company, the product. And it was like, what is this? And at the very bottom, in like size 4 or 5 print font, was like, it said LucasArts. And I was like, oh, okay, it's something, it's this. And got sent the sides that were nothing like the scene or anything. Got cast, and my agent was like, I don't even know what character you are. So
doesn't matter.
There you go. But and then I found out at my fitting who I actually was, just from the, they didn't even tell me. They was just a picture of like the guy they were trying to match, and I was like, oh, that looks familiar. I'd seen the deleted scene too.
You had?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. You'd actually seen it before. So you kind of had, you're like, oh, I get this.
This guy. Yeah. But still did not even know what show it was. Just, because they have a bunch coming out. Tons. Yeah, didn't even know until probably after the first day on set.
So what did they tell you about the character?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, there it is.
How do you even do that? Like, I am fascinated by the way that your guys are able to like do what you're supposed to do with so little prompting, like just read the lines, but make it a person. How do you, I just don't even know.
It's a lot of I pull from my life and from the people that are in my life.
That makes sense.
I kind of put little puzzle pieces together of like,
Gotcha.
oh, who'd this guy be? Oh, this would be a Kevin, or this would be a Dustin.
Sure.
Yeah. What was the backstory you worked up for this character for yourself to kind of understand him better?
I mean, he's been at Tashi Station for how long? He's grown up in this place. It was passed down to him. And I read some of the lore a little bit, I didn't get too deep because I didn't want to, but yeah, just trying to make this guy as human as possible with the little amount of dialogue that I had of like, what would this guy do? It's his place. He's got all of these bikers in here that are probably gonna tear the place apart.
Right.
How would you react with, you got to keep your your girlfriend, your love of your life that you've been with for 4 or 5 years, however long. How would you go about doing that without endangering your place, endangering her, endangering your own,
Sure.
But just like asking questions and kind of answering those as you go.
So what's the reaction been like from fans, people that are interacting with you at this point when they see that you're taking on this character that was not even in the original movie, but was just this deep cut of a deleted scene and has this whole, like you said, the lore that's out there. What's it been like getting the chance to kind of interact with people who are kind of excited about this whole thing?
Oh, it's amazing. I had no idea that it was going to be as like big of a thing as it is.
Yeah.
But everyone that's reached out has been so kind and like appreciative of me portraying this guy who like is finally canon now. And it's been awesome. And just to be a part of because I am a part of that fan base, and so to have that interacting and like, oh, this is great to see you on this, and it's been awesome, man. It's been so fun.
So you got roughed up a little bit. Sorry, Matt, go ahead. No,
I was just gonna say, and that's what prompted me, Nate, to reach out to Skyler, because
fan reaction was
it's
huge.
not just like a new character, it has ties, and that's what we're all about. Like it was just, I was like, we got to get him on.
It was a hell of an Easter egg. Yeah, it was a hell of an Easter egg that people were just really celebrating. I think it's so cool. It's that nice connective tissue that goes throughout Star Wars.
Kind of a unique position, though, right? Because it is an established character, but it isn't in a lot of ways, right? So you get to kind of make it your own in a way that we haven't. I mean, I hadn't even seen the deleted scene, and I'm a huge nerd. So,
that you are, Jake. I'll vouch for that.
Yeah, and because you've known me forever. So
I've known you since high school. Yeah. You got roughed up in that scene, man, and you have done stunt work. So I'm gathering like, I got this. Let's go ahead and do it. Come on, I know what I'm doing here. Well, how long did that scene take, and then what was involved with the stunt work with that?
Well, so they when I got cast, it was kind of like a actor with stunt abilities was like the and so got on set, and they're kind of like, hey, he's gonna beat you up, he's gonna throw you against this wall, and then we're gonna go. And then I was like, oh, all right. And then they went through rehearsal, and JJ Perry was the stunt coordinator on there, who's done like all the John Wicks and like
knows his stuff.
In the stunt world, Sam Hargrave as well. And just like, I'm relatively new in the stunt world. I've been doing it for 1 to 3 years, not crazy amounts of time, but all the guys were super like, hey, if you lean in, you can take more of a hit. If you do this, everyone was just really encouraging and really like helpful. And this is what's going to make the scene look the best it can be. And this is what's going to make the show the best it can be, is if every scene is like this. And all those guys on there are all like Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
And you can just tell.
Well, we were talking about the NDA and how weird that is to sign something that's pretty much blank, telling you that we're going to own you if you do anything about this. How much torture was it to be a part, cast into something like this? Because again, you've been around other big projects, but you're in a Star Wars project. You know you are. How much torture is that holding on to that, not being able to tell anyone?
The biggest.
Yeah.
Especially because it was a year. It's been a year, maybe.
Yeah.
We filmed it in February of last year.
Wow.
So it's been a long time, and to finally like see it and be able to talk about it is super exciting. But it was hard, man.
Did you ever slip? I'm not going to hold it against if you don't want to answer, but did you ever slip?
I wouldn't admit to that.
Yeah, probably say that.
I can't say anything.
There you go. That'll work.
You don't want the mouse to show up at your house.
No comment. Yeah.
How long did that scene take to shoot? Like, how long did that take for the whole process? Because sometimes what we see takes like, 30, 40 seconds on screen. This was a few minutes, but it could take weeks. So how long did this thing shoot?
So this shot for 2 days.
Okay.
It was just this scene for 2 days. And it was, they were moving, but they were very like careful to, if they wanted a moment, they would change the entire setup, take a wall out, put 4 cameras in, and then make sure to capture this 3-second moment. They were able to do kind of whatever they wanted to. The unlimited resources they got.
So what was Tim Morrison like on set? What was he like to work with? I mean, he's basically just roughing people up in that time that he's in there, but I imagine you got a chance to interact with him a little bit.
Yeah, he is he's the greatest human. He's so cool. He's full of energy, talks to everybody, loves everybody. He's so stoked about being Boba Fett. That's awesome. And it's like, you can just feel it. Interacting with everybody, the PAs, directors, stunts, us who were there for a day and a half, he's just walking through with the stunt guy, doing all of his own moves, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Well, and we've heard that, and it's no surprise because in interviews they always preach family, family, family. So it sounds like that comes across that way with not just actors, but the people holding the clipboards and whoever. So
and I feel like if you have that just camaraderie at the very big level, your project is going to be 1,000 times better.
And you're not the first person we've heard say those exact things. Basically, it's like everybody you talk to says the same thing, that it's like a family and it's just the best way to work. So
it is, because you need everybody, and if you can trust everyone to do their jobs, and everyone loves to do the jobs that they're doing, you get the best product.
And it shows for us too, watching it, that everybody just loves it and reveres the source. It really does come through.
There's
every little bit
a real reverence amongst the creators of the show that just it kind of permeates everything that they do. Can you talk about the experience of working with the creators of the show? I'm not sure how much interactions you had with Robert Rodriguez and all those guys, but what was the involvement like that you saw from your end of things?
So Steph Green was the director on my episode. But it was crazy. But she was in quarantine for another show, so she was on FaceTime. And so Jon Favreau was my director.
Okay.
Wow.
The in-person director.
That's awesome.
We had, along with Sam Hargrave, who was also kind of second unit directing.
Yeah.
And Steph on the FaceTime camera. So I had like 3 people kind of like, hey, let's try this. Let's try this. We're going to rewrite this and, put this in. And, but it was they all wanted the same thing. They all wanted the moments to land, and they all wanted the connections between the tough guys and the guys standing up for what's right, and all of these like little things they all agreed on and all wanted it to be the best, and it was just great.
So wait a minute, so was there just somebody like running around with their iPhone out, like basically holding in front of their face?
Breaking news.
So that the director could go, phone it in.
What a
awesome.
weird experience it's got to be on a set during the pandemic to try to be working under these really different conditions. Did that, pose any challenges for you while you're doing, or is anything, or is it just kind of like, this is our new norm. This is what we're doing.
Disney's really, really good about that. They would do, prior testing and then testing when you I think I tested 3 or 4 times in one day, but it's all like test when you get there and like go into a room and like stay there and then you're cleared and then you can go out and then you can test again. And then, but everyone's all about following protocol and being safe. And it was great. It was probably one of the best sets I've ever worked on, which is
that's awesome.
That's just a great story that someone carrying on the iPhone and that's the director on there. That's great. It speaks to the times that we live in, just the weirdness that is.
The normal has definitely adjusted. 10 years ago, that would have been
right. So did you know when you were filming what show you were doing at that point? Because I've heard some people didn't know.
No idea. No idea.
When did you find out?
Crazy.
I found out, maybe like 2 weeks later or something.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah, it was even like the makeup and hair were like, do we know what show?
Which one did you think it was? Like when you first
Mandalorian. I thought it was next Mandalorian, but they're like, maybe we're everyone's trying to figure it out. And
it's not necessarily so far off anymore, is it?
Yeah, right.
Say Mandalorian.
Exactly.
So how did you get people together to watch? Did you like join with people when your episode was on? What did you do to celebrate it?
So I was with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
And we kind of knew like because I didn't even know what episode I was going to be on. I thought it was 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Because I know that it was relatively early in filming, but I didn't know for sure. Mm-hmm. So I had a bunch of friends gather for like the first episode, and then they're like, well, I guess it wasn't that one. And then, but then the second one, everyone was kind of there, and we watched it maybe like 10 minutes after midnight and like started it then.
Yeah.
And so when my role kind of came up, I had people texting me before my part was on screen, and so I was like, okay, it's this episode for sure, because
I'm blowing up.
No deleted scenes. No deleted scenes.
So fun, man. I mean, friends there and supporting, and it's great.
It's fun, man. That's so much fun. So what's on tap for you now? What are you working on? I know that you've done a lot of different projects, but what are you looking forward to tackling here next?
So I'm shooting a movie right now. Can't say too much about that, but
okay.
And then I have another one coming out, another project coming out in March as well. It's like a Netflix series, a little guest star in there, but
nice.
Very cool.
Some good stuff.
We'll be watching.
We're curious about the thing you can't talk about. We'll have to go and check in on that and keep following you on social media to see what's up next for you. But that's awesome. Congratulations on that. Hey, you're a great guy to have involved in the Star Wars universe. Really appreciate that. We've got a list of questions we want to go through, but before I get to those, and we ask every guest these questions, before I get to that, is there anything you guys that I missed out here? Matt, Jake, anything you want to ask him that I didn't get to already? Because I had my list and I've checked off everything I wanted to talk about.
No, my only question was obviously your counterpart, Mandy.
Yes.
I mean, obviously she can answer some of her own questions, but how was her experience? You working with her, but also was she aware of, just like you were, is she a fan? Was she aware of the part and who she was playing?
How much you guys talk about everything?
Yeah, so she is she's a stuntie on Mando, and what has been for a long time. And so she kind of just was like got bumped up to it, and she was a fan. She knew the movies, and but she's all about stunts and taught me a bunch of stuff too. And
awesome,
very cool.
Yeah, she's super cool and like all about being in the scene and kind of making those moments work too.
Yeah,
awesome.
This was not her first rodeo. She knew what she was doing. She was there, and she took on this role. But she'd been around the crew and the set for a while. It sounds like.
Yeah, she was homie with everybody. Yeah,
she probably knew more than you did. Wasn't telling you much, right?
Probably, yeah.
It certainly sounds like once you kind of get your foot in the door with Star Wars stuff, that there's a really good chance you'll get pulled back in, as long as you can be quiet and do not annoy everybody. You're probably good, and you have another chance later, which is cool.
Yeah, so I'm crossing my fingers on that one. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope so.
Us too for sure, man. Yeah.
The last one I had was you did a post with Andy Circus.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Can you guys give us a little backstory on that? Like, was it just like a quick meet, or like did you guys interact with him? Because obviously he does a great job. So.
So he's definitely like, I don't get starstruck very easily, but he's one of them.
Yeah.
And I was at some event or something, and I saw him, and my manager that was with me at the time was like, "Do you want to go talk?" I was like, "Oh no, I can't." And she's like, "Yeah, come on." And I couldn't form sentences. I couldn't form words. I was just like, hi, hey. And he like full blown carried a conversation and like asked me what I was doing, and just the nicest guy ever and most supportive and encouraging. It's like, keep at it, man. You'll do it, and you'll get there.
He comes across that way in a lot of his interviews, and you see enough. Like I've done enough interviews over the years in my career that you get a pretty good sense of people. You figure out who they are, and he's always one of those people that comes across as pretty genuine, that he is what he is. So yeah.
And I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I know this isn't.
How could you not be?
Yeah,
we all are.
We're all right there.
We're all right there.
But,
all right. Let's play a game of 7 questions here. So these are all Star Wars related questions, and no pressure. If there's something you're not quite familiar with, that's fine. But let's get into it. Before we start, one of the questions involves the Darth Jar Jar theory. Do you know what that is?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to ask you about that in a moment then. All right. So cool. First question, you're hanging out, and just, this is all quick, whatever comes to your mind first. You're hanging out in a space cantina. Who are you?
Han.
I love it. Perfect. I can see you as a Han. You look like a Han. All right. What's your lightsaber color?
Ooh, green.
Nice choice. Okay. Do you have a favorite quote from Star Wars, and what is it?
It's more of like a conversation, a one-sided conversation. It's the one where Han is on the intercom, and he's like, everything's good here.
Yep.
How about you?
That is awesome.
That was a great moment.
That was awesome.
I love it. That's great. All right. You're a pilot. What's your starship? We may know this, but go ahead and say it.
Millennium Falcon.
What are you flying? Yeah. Of course. If you're Han Solo, it's Millennium Falcon. Come on.
Millennium Falcon. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Where do you stand on the Darth Jar Jar theory? Do you believe it, or do you think it's trash?
I want it to be true so bad.
Yeah.
It's the most deceptive, manipulative, sneaky, dark, evil thing to do is to like play this like wonky, crazy guy who like really has this underlying intent. I think that'd be awesome.
It's so creative. I just loved it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that is perfect. Yeah, it's a great theory. All right. Who would you say is the true hero of Star Wars?
R2-D2.
I love it.
There you go.
I love it when they go with the droids. I love when you go with the droids. All right. Favorite Star Wars movie or series?
I love Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
But I have a soft spot for the prequels. I do.
I love it.
Interesting.
Some prequel love. That's awesome, man.
Interesting.
That is all 7 questions. Skyler, appreciate you so much. Again, Skyler Bible joining us. You know him as Fixer from the Book of Boba Fett. He's got so many great things going on in the career. We're excited. We're fans of yours. We wish you well, and thank you so much for joining us, Skyler.
And where can we find you, Skyler?
Yes, yeah. How can we get in touch with you on social media? Where can we follow you?
Yeah. Instagram, Twitter, mainly just Skyler Bible. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for having me on. This is so fun.
Oh no, thank
you,
man.